should push it, please. Are we ready? Call this public safety meeting to order. This meeting has been given public notice. Get something here so I can. This meeting has been given public notice in accordance with Wisconsin statutes, section 19.83 and 19.84 in such form that will appraise the general public and news media of subject matter that is intended for discussion and action. Roll call. We have everybody here this evening. Public comments. Anybody? Deanna? Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion in regard to the minutes? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Going into reports, police department, please.
I did want to read an email real quickly that we received from our probation officer who was recently reassigned. Agent Kenneth Cannon had used our office for a number of years, meeting with a number of his clients. We worked with him real close over the last couple of years on a number of different projects. He did send an email recently and said, first, I would like to thank everyone for their work, dedication, and special requests that I've requested over the past couple of years as your probation liaison. I would not have been able to accomplish certain tasks without you. The countless warrants to be served, revocation hearings to testify at, and assisting me with home visits to name a few on a personal and professional level. The staff here at Germantown are like no other departments, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to work with you all. I've accepted a promotion to Corrections Field Supervisor out of Washington County. Within time, another probation parole agent will be assigned to your station as your liaison. That agent will report directly to Corrections Field Supervisors Kara Minute, and I am sure they will be pleased to work with everyone as I was. Again, thank you for all the work you do for the community. It sure does not go unnoticed. So I just thought it was a nice email that he sent to us after he was with us for a couple of years, and we worked very well with him. Number of things going on this month, many of them still under investigation, so not a lot I can report on. The robbery at Speedway that happened earlier this month is still under investigation. Looks like $400 to $500 was taken from the cash register. We've had, just in the last couple weeks, and these are just stuff that we're getting through the flock cameras, which we'll, I'm sure, talk more about later. 3 stolen vehicles that were recovered as a result of those recoveries. There were other arrests made for cocaine possession, intent to deliver cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, number of warrants, number of felony warrants, bail jumping warrants, several other reported stolen vehicles that turned into high-speed pursuits that they were not apprehended. But I guess the takeaway is that those cameras has certainly increased our business. But that's good. I mean, because it's out there. We knew it was out there, and this is just another tool to help us hold those people accountable on it. And I think that's important. I do think it's going to get worse before it gets better. We are having a meeting next month with area agencies. Menominee Falls has them now. Milwaukee's getting some. Grafton has some. Port and Cedarburg, Jackson, I believe, all have them. We're going to get together and see how we can do a better job networking with one another to increase the use of those cameras. But they are going to be a very valuable tool for us. Recently, we did receive a grant, a $40,000 grant Officer McCulloch and drug investigator Sean Whelan got together and found this grant for drug interdiction. And because we had done a number of drug interdictions last year, we were eligible for this grant. There was 20 awarded throughout the entire state. We received one of them, one of the larger ones for $40,000. So it was just an awesome job by those two to find this grant, and then we were kind of right toward the end of when it was due. They worked very hard to get the grant in, and yeah, just within the last couple of weeks, we found out that we were awarded the grant. It's going to allow us to start a drone program, which we wanted to do for a number of years, and that was just something that we just couldn't fit into the budget anywhere. We have been using Washington counties when we need one. It's going to be just a huge asset for us to have that at our disposal. We will be getting, as you'll see later, we're going to be hoping to get more flock cameras, another Morpho touch machine, which we wanted to get for the last several years. And there are not a lot of agencies around the county that have those portable Morpho machines, so that's huge. So yeah, we're excited about the grant, and we're hoping to start putting some of those new units into play within the next couple months or so. That was all I had, unless anyone had any questions for me.
Chief, the grant, how many drones would that be? Just one, or?
That is one we entered. The grant also covers training for the drone, but it also covers other interdiction training opportunities. But the drone itself, we estimated the cost to be around $9,000. That does not include the training, and there's certain licensing that's needed, and we have to kind of determine what's the best fit for our agency. So we're still working with a couple other agencies around the area that have programs and see what they're doing, and we're checking out different models to see what's the best features for us. But yeah, we're anticipating that drone to be right around $9,000.
I did have a question regarding the dispatching. I know it was brought up, I think, regarding possibly moving dispatching to Washington County, get centrally located over the. Were you able to look at that at all, or no?
No, I know that it had been brought up. I did not know that it was something that we were
It's not, no.
looking at.
If-
No, I think there's a lot of factors that come into play when you start looking at making that type of a move. So I think it's a real comprehensive thing that needs to be investigated.
I was going to say, in regard to this same situation, 9 years ago, time flies, when I was a county supervisor, I was on that radio committee as such, and that was the different things that we're trying to get the different municipalities to sign in on in regard to it. But that's when Germantown had wanted to, the police chief we had, wanted to keep it here. And so we invested a lot of money to have what we have in regard to that as such. So I don't know if I don't remember anymore, I should say, if there's any other communities in Washington County that use their own, that you know, that you can tell me?
The last PSAPs right now are us, Hartford, West Bend, and then of course the county.
Yeah, because I think there's towns and so on and so forth. I think in Washington County, I think there's a total of 32, if I remember right, from a long time ago. But we are the larger ones as such.
Yeah, that it was brought up years ago, as you pointed out, Trustee Myers, and it was not well received by the community as far as going with Washington County. And then there was a significant upgrade done at Germantown to keep our own dispatch, and that we actually had to build not a new facility, but we did a lot of remodeling and a lot of replacement of consoles, things of that nature.
How was that done?
For some reason, 9 years
I think it was around 9
stands
years.
out. Julie, does that sound right, or was it longer than? they're all blending together for me now, so I'm
Doesn't get any better when you get older. As I always say. Any other questions, Chief? None? John, please.
So we are continuing to get a lot of double and triple calls at the same time, which is lowering our NFPA compliance to 87% for September. Last time we were at the 90% range was back in July. It's just kind of the way the calls are falling right now. In September, end of September, beginning of October, we kind of had I don't want to say a rash, but we had quite a few stroke calls that had come through our department. And I'm really pleased to announce that we did get some feedback from the local hospitals on those stroke calls that we had. All of our calls that dealt with that, we had made what's called a stroke alert and notified the hospital of a potential stroke within 5 minutes of us arriving on scene, which allowed from the time of our call to the time the person was in the CT machine to be between 15 and 20 minutes. So the staffing that we have at the station is actually working, and all of those people turned out really well with low or zero deficits because of the response time that we were able to give them.
Good to hear. Anything else, John?
Nope, that's it.
Any questions, please, from the committee?
I have a,
No, just go ahead.
I have a comment. Congratulations on the response time. That's great. I mean, it saves people's lives. In addition to that, I'd like to thank the fire department for coming trick or treat. That was great.
Yeah, we like to do that every year, and that's just something that they do
Remember.
on their own. So
Yeah, they did a great job. Thank you.
it's a lot of fun for them too.
Yeah, good.
Get that heart. Okay, let's go on to the policy updates. We don't have any. Unfinished business, we do not have any. Under new business A, we have weather siren update, please.
the issue of the weather sirens in the village, that they were aging, and some concerns we've had whether or not they needed replacement. At that time, the feeling was that they needed to be replaced. When we looked at the price of that, it was, I want to say, like $200,000. Captain Grenier started searching out some other options and was in contact with Sheboygan Warning Systems, and it was their feeling that we could continue to maintain the system that we had. And I believe Carter is here to discuss that with us today, and he'd be able to answer more questions that you have.
Good evening, Carter. Could we come up to the podium, please? Could you make sure that that is on, please?
It's
the
the, it says push.
Yeah, no. So.
Hello, 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 hello.
Might have to get closer to it, but
Good evening, everyone. How you guys doing? My name is Carter.
Hey, I'm Tom Diener. I am also co-owner and I am the operations manager for Sheboygan Warning Systems.
Sirens is that is if they we thought that was a bit odd. We've only had a siren so far. We did go the other. Could be replaced. Yeah, asking if it. That is definitely something of.
To give you guys kind of a update about your warning sirens and whatnot, what you guys currently use are the Federal Signal 2001-SRN. That is the model number of the siren. Those came into production in 1985. You guys have the third generation of that model, the last generation before they switched to the model number SRNB. So you guys, up in the head, you have a main 7.5 horsepower DC motor. Basically, where those motors came out of were Federal, all the other siren brands kind of needed a DC operated motor to give battery backup into the sirens. Up until this point, you know, in the 1990s, 1980s, sirens ran off the grid only. There was no battery backup unless you used a electronic siren. So those motors are based off of a golf cart motor. Very little to go wrong with them and whatnot. There's just forces that go on the motor that have to be checked periodically to make sure that they don't get stuck to the brush holder and that you don't have pitting. Same thing with the brushes. The brushes do wear down over time, so sometimes you have to do brush replacement. Like Carter said, if your sirens are maintained, you shouldn't have to replace them every 20, 25 years. Parts are still available. I know there was some concern that the manufacturer did not support the siren anymore, which I find it hard to believe because back where we're from, the same manufacturer and vendor that you guys use told our city that the sirens were fine and we're able to upgrade them with no additional. They didn't need new siren heads is basically what we were told. They just upgraded the controls. So parts are still out there. We source from, you know, whether due to the manufacturer not supporting them anymore, we're still able to find that same gear reducer that steps down the rotator motor speed down to the about 2 RPM that your guys' rotate at, and along with new belts for those that sometimes go bad. The belt that goes from the rotator motor to the rotator gear reducer. Like Carter said, you know, they're 25 years old. There's nothing really wrong with it. A siren head is a siren head. It's just a motor with a fan that instead of being quiet makes a really loud noise. So there's not really much wrong to go wrong with it. I know reading through your guys' meeting minutes that you guys were looking at upgrading software. You know, that's something you can do. You know, it being a federal system, it would be a little bit difficult for us to get software to update it, but it could be done. But we'd recommend going down the line is upgrading to what our company that we deal for is American Signal based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The software is designed in-house by Wisconsinites to protect Wisconsinites. So what that would entail is you putting in a new computer, and that would run the new software. It's called CompUlert Next Gen. And then the sites would get a new what's called remote terminal unit. So that takes all the data from the siren, quite similar to what is being used now, but gives you a little bit more of a updated report status, like actual battery health. How are the batteries doing when the siren's running, to kind of give you a clue like, hey, battery number 4 is on its way out. Maybe have someone go out there and take a look at it and possibly replace it. You know, and then there's some other things that CompUlert can do too, you know, like you can log in from a phone. So, you know, with that dispatch center, you know, you have two, 3 dispatchers on schedule or on shift. And if they're busy with a severe weather event, you know, someone could log in from their phone and activate the sirens, or even better yet, with this software, you could have it triggered by like the National Weather Service. It monitors a cap feed, it's called, and every time a warning is issued for a specific area, the coordinates and cap feed is fed into the next gen and will automatically activate them. So that's something down the road that could be looked at. The main big thing that we saw from our audit is that 3 of the sites appeared to have at some point had a battery explosion, with site number 14, which is on the southern side of the village. That had the most recent battery explosion in August. That could be due to the battery chargers. I think 12 of the 15 sites still have the old style 4 battery charger, and those can tend to go bad. But mainly what we see with batteries exploding is due to inferior quality battery. The batteries that are currently used in the sirens are off-the-shelf Menards batteries that the past vendor has gotten. They're the Blue Handle FVP Group 24 Deep Cycle Marine battery. What we use is They're made by Northern Battery. They're a battery supplier. They have I guess you could say battery centers all across the state. That's what a lot of the smaller municipalities that have backup generators that run like the whole village or town use to start their generators. We found out about them about 3 years ago, and we've had good luck with them ever since. Oh, I don't know if Carter wants to talk more.
No, I think I heard you say you had 15 sites. Okay, and you've gone through how many so far? I didn't mean it.
I
Yeah.
don't know what's remaining in that budget for this year. I believe it starts out at $9,000 for the maintenance of the sirens.
Right. Any other questions? Sorry,
I have questions, but I don't think it's for this meeting. But I do like to learn and requirements of maintaining these systems. Annual costs that we put in the system.
I don't think is there a law that we have to have?
Did we have to have sirens? No.
There's nothing,
No, there's municipalities that don't have sirens.
So are you, so you inventoried our system, are you, and what is the goal of that inventory?
Goal was to get a better idea of what your system sirens. That was our main.
Okay.
Captain.
And is that, your, so in inventory is a listing of what you have, right? And then is there going to be a recommendation on that inventory?
Yes,
I assume?
That is what we're going to do as well. Inevitable one.
So the chief has the inventory?
He will.
Okay.
We're still- yeah, we're-
And then when do you expect getting the recommendations over? Oh, okay, all right.
no, just go with the chief. Chief, if you want to do, if we can put this on the agenda for next month and they can kind of report as to what you have heard.
Okay,
Appreciate that.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Is this all you guys do? No, but I mean, your business is
Yeah, we do
Me-
refurbishment,
interesting.
maintain
Okay.
sirens.
And how many municipalities do you have?
Are close over. I mean, those are some.
Yeah,
I should say.
Thank you. Very, very interesting. Thank you.
Any other questions?
One final question. Do you maintain then whatever you work on and then try and get on a schedule? In other words, do we get a list of what you're working on
Yeah, well,
as part?
I'm understanding. We have a maintenance agreement. We
Yeah.
come out every service call, Captain Grenier.
Yeah.
Make a hold doc.
Right,
So if there's any
okay,
concerns or
sure. Oh, thanks.
so quick question, if power in the village went out, would the alarm still sound?
interesting to know. Any other questions, please? Thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate coming by and explaining this to us. It's learning information for all of us. If I could have, for a couple minutes, take a couple of those that I'm handing out is, whenever you have a request, put something on the committee, any committee, use one of these forms. I don't know if they are. I just wanted to, as you had mentioned it, but a couple of meetings ago. Okay. We'll go on to new business B, please.
That was the canine?
Yes, I'm sorry. I should have said.
That's good. We are requesting to purchase a new canine squad out of the canine fund, which is donations funded by the community, in the amount of $35,927. The canine committee has agreed to take care of the changeover and equipment costs to outfit the new canine unit. That canine unit started out in the fleet and then was basically appropriated as the canine squad back in 2016. Already had a number of miles on it. It's up to 114,000 miles now, and it has been at the DPW routinely. It's time that the squad is just old and ready to be put down.
Do we have two of them?
We do. The other one we purchased brand new with the new canine unit. So we still have some life left in that one.
So are you looking for, is there money in the budget?
There is, and this doesn't come close to depleting that fund. And I thought I had the fund attached to this. I don't, but we want to make sure we left plenty in there to, in the event that something happens to a canine, or just to keep something in that fund for when we need a new canine.
So you're looking for a motion to approve the 35,000 or whatever it was that you had,
That's correct.
please? Committee?
I'll make a motion to approve $35,927
I'll second.
cheeseburger.
Oh, I didn't.
Okay.
What? So is that the place, Ewald, is it? Ewald?
Correct.
Is that the place you guys always purchase the vehicles through?
We typically, well, like this year, I think we went through Kaiser out of Madison. It's whoever has the state bid. Usually, was this the lowest bid?
Ford.
Why don't you,
Ewald Ford.
why don't you talk about the state with their bidding system that they have? I don't think some of the members understand that.
Yeah, we go out for bids every year before we purchase squads. We try to get as many as we can in the area, and whoever has that state bid is, and not in every case, but typically is the one who gives us the low bid, and that's who we end up going through. It had been Ewald for years. This year Kaiser did come in a little lower. We went with them, and then found out with the transport that they charged us, it was kind of a wash anyway. But Ewald does have that bid, and they do have the squad on the lot, I believe, and that's why another reason that Lieutenant Merton looked at them as well.
So you guys did get a couple bids, and
Yeah, this was, I think he was going largely off the bids he had just done earlier in the year, and based off the availability is what he was kind of looking at with this one.
So who is the supplier that we're going to use for this?
Ewald.
Okay. You want to put that in your motion also, please? Very good. Any other questions in regard to this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. C, flock camera lease.
So I understand this is the third time I'm back here with the flock camera issue. And the reason for this is we had received approval to purchase 4. With this grant, we'll be able to purchase the 6 that are already in place. And I will be coming back again to request, I believe, 4 more that grant will allow us to purchase, but we have to get the that figured out. But with this grant, we know that we can cover the 2 additional cameras to give us 6 down in that southwest section of the village.
There isn't any money that Germantown has put in matching or anything for this grant? Sometimes you have a matching, you put in X number of dollars, or they give you X number of dollars, and you have to put in 50% of the same amount.
We do have the money in the budget to cover it until we are reimbursed through the grant.
Okay, so in other words, the grant that will give you that 40,000.
That's correct.
Thank you. Sometimes the grants have stipulations too. And I was just trying to make that aware. So there's nothing more on this particular situation to do. Coming back to us later. Correct, as you stated? Good.
Motion to approve the 2 additional cameras.
Second,
Is there an amount that we should put also in there?
The 2 additional cameras would be $5,000.
Total?
Yes, because we had already paid the installment on those. So we just owe for the lease, the $2,500 lease per camera.
Okay, very good.
So the budget item then is incorrect. So it says $16,500 of the grant is designated for the use of additional flock cameras.
Correct, that'll be the total number, so that 16.5 minus that 5,000 was what we would have left available to use for.
Additional, I gotcha.
additional
Thank you.
cameras.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please?
I,
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Whole situation for new businesses next. Promotional process, please.
A couple months, I came forward requesting basically a new command structure that we're still looking at, still working on. And that structure called for 6 sergeants with 3 lieutenants, a captain, and a chief. Right now, we are in such a bind with supervisors because we've been down 1 lieutenant for the entire year. Now we're down 2 lieutenants. We do not know when that other lieutenant is coming back. At this point, we have to do something to get a supervisor in place. So I am requesting to replace or to promote for the lieutenant position that was vacated by Lieutenant Schreihart. The funds are still in that administrative line item 521-510-1110 for salaries.
So would this be a promotion from within?
Yes, it would.
Okay. Looking for a motion to open up the vacant
I'll make a
position.
motion to open up the tenant's position for a new lieutenant.
Second.
Further questions from the committee?
Do you have an expected return date for the one that's out on leave?
We don't.
Is that workers' comp or otherwise?
It is an injury that is out and it was not work related.
Okay, okay.
And there's no return to work date?
Thank you. His last appointment, it's been kind of a month by month scenario right now. It was a shoulder injury and it's just not at the point where they're clearing him to return to duty.
How long have they been out for?
Since last December.
Is he, I don't know if I can ask this, but is he on Cobra?
No, I'm sorry, he has been working light duty. We have assigned him to light duty assignments. So he's been working,
Working to some degree, but not full-time.
correct, he's working his regular 40-hour schedule. And he has been since probably 2 months after the injury.
Thank you for telling.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. E, St. Boniface Congregation. Temporary Class B license for March 4th, 11th, and 18th. And a temporary B license for malt liquor for January 15th and February 18th. I imagine, Deanna, that's all for next year? Thank you.
Motion to approve new business item E for St. Boniface Congregation to approve temporary Class B and temporary Class B fermented malt beer license and temporary Class B fermented malt beer and wine licenses for next year.
Second, please. Any questions in
Why?
regard to it?
Yeah, that was my question.
Why?
too. What are they doing?
It's for a temporary beer and wine license as listed with those dates, and then it will go to the next village board meeting for final approval on November 15th.
But what is St. Boniface doing?
Why is the
They've got-
question?
They've got fish fries and different kinds of activities within which activity, but they do have.
Oh, you had a question?
No, I don't, there's just no reason as to
Oh,
why.
have they done this in the past, if I remember right?
They have, and it's fish fries and different kinds of, spaghetti dinner, those kinds of activities.
Some of these, I would imagine, has to do with the Lenten season, if looking at the dates and such.
They're just planning ahead for
Sure.
next year.
Yeah.
They're just
Thank
trying
you.
to plan ahead.
Any other questions from the committee? All those in favor of the motion? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Regard to our next meeting, December 6th at 6 p.m. Back to 6 p.m. Further business from this committee? Otherwise, we are adjourned. Thank you.